Hello and welcome to another episode of Too Late with Dave. This time I've dressed like a Frenchman because we have a real live Frenchman here, Richard Bellia. He's come all the way especially to do this. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
That's it, that's all my French, you know, and you're lucky. What brings you to London this time?
I have an exhibition in South London in Camberwell. And also there was The Cure played London earlier this month, and I took photos of The Cure as I do.
You've been photographing The Cure for about 100 years now.
Yeah.
When was the first time?
I first photographed them in 1980.
Wow. You don't look old enough.
And I do my best to look old. It was in I saw them in France in a festival in the northeast of France, and then I just decided to become a photographer. So in the summer I worked and I had the money, and in October the same year I saw The Cure again in Luxembourg. This time it was not far from where I lived, but at the time I had my first camera.
And so from that point on, were you a photographer?
I think from the moment you have a camera in your hand, you're a photographer. Yes. Yeah. I never considered photography as like a hobby or some. You know, I always thought I have my camera. I'm going to. It's heavy. I carry it, but I do it on purpose because I want to bring something back. So I never did that as a hobby, so to speak.
And did you have any sort of training, or did you just figure it out?
Wow, I've never been to any school. I just had a couple of friends explaining me, this and that. And also when you develop your films and you go and get your films from the lab, and then you just look at them and the guy says, you should have done this, you should have done that. So gradually I learned. But I'm very slow, I still make mistakes.
But sometimes you get a good result from a mistake. A happy accident.
Well, I have, with The Cure specifically, I have one happy accident. But it's not my thing. I'd rather have control on what I do.
Yeah. And you're always shooting film?
Yeah. Oui. I used a digital camera around 2000 something for 2 years, and it was a mistake.
Let me hear that Hasselblad.
This one. It makes sounds like this.
It's a real camera. That's so good.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Well,
and people react differently when they hear that.
Of course they do. I think digital is okay so long as you don't take good photos. I mean, the day no, really. If you shoot casually, if you take whatever you want, even a telephone, okay. But the day you have a really, really good photo, and it's not on film, it's on digital, I swear you want to kill yourself. I swear. And I had this digital camera for 2 years, and I have a pretty good photo of Keith Richard, one with Robert De Niro, one with Patti Smith, and another one with the Stones off stage. And after that, I realized that I was making a big mistake. But so long as your photography is average and I was gonna, digital is perfect for you. Yeah. But if you really have a really good photo, like this one, this Nirvana one, digital didn't exist at the time, but I'm really happy that I've got it on film.
Yeah.
So that we can work on all the details of the negative to make a very good and beautiful print.
Yeah. So this is in Piccadilly Circus, I think.
Correct.
And you got quite a lot of good Nirvana pictures. But who was this for? What was going on?
It was for nobody.
Mm.
I was just friends with the girl from the record company,
Right.
and she said I was like your average arrogant French bloke, right? Because like Geffen Records, they had like all this horrible music. Like they had the sister of Kylie Minogue.
Danny Minogue.
Yeah, Danny Minogue. Yeah. And I remember, like one day, it rings on my door, and there was a courier, yeah, and he said, "Hey," okay. And I said, "Oh, thank you." I said, "It's a vinyl that's sent by the record company, and it's
Danny Minogue.
Danny Minogue." And I called him. I said, "Look, leave me alone. Don't wake me up with this. I was working in the dark room last night. This is unnecessary pollution. Leave me alone." So the guy said, the girl of Geffen said, "Shit, this is the first time I ever hear anyone who says, don't send me music, unless it's good."
Yeah.
And then Geffen, they signed Sonic Youth and Nirvana. So she said, Liz, at Geffen, she said, I'm this French guy, I'm going to keep this. I said, listen to that. And I was like, wow, Nirvana, this is really good. So this is how it started. I said, okay, I want you to help me photograph this band. Voilà.
And so do you not want to photograph people if you don't like their music?
It's a waste of time. Because you can, no, but you can
you can't pretend.
No, you can't pretend. Like if I'm lying, it's like sure, you can see it on my forehead. I can't go I can't go in front of somebody like
Danny Minogue.
Exactly. Regarde. No. I really have to feel for the.
Who would you like to photograph that you haven't photographed?
These days, a guy. There's a guy doing a band in South London called Pre-Goblin. Have you heard this band? It's immense.
I haven't even heard of Danny Minogue. I'm really out of touch.
No, but Pre-Goblin, if I pronounce it well, his name is Alex, I think. And he's from that scene, the South London scene with the White family and all that. Very active scene. And this guy, I adore this band, Pre-Goblin.
Pre-Goblin, all right. Check them out, kids.
Wait.
So I'm going to jump around a little bit, but when I first met you, also 100 years ago, you were living in Camberwell, and you were very busy. You're still busy, but you were very busy then. So you were living in this big house in Camberwell with how many other people were there?
Two or three people, roughly. Yeah.
It was a huge house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a huge squat.
Huge squat. Now it's a huge mansion.
It's a huge mansion.
Have you been past it?
Yeah. You could like the ground floor, basement, first floor, second floor, third. It all became one big house. So this is probably really, really expensive.
Yeah. No, that was a great place. And so when you, what brought you to London? Was it the music scene or just the?
I'd been doing a fanzine with my friends in somewhere in France, and they said, "Look, if we want to be professional, we have to move to Paris." And we find a publisher, and we were doing this fanzine, and said, "Let's do something a bit bigger. So let's go to Paris, right?" Yeah. And so everyone was preparing to move to Paris, and I said, I don't like Paris. I don't like Paris. It's full of French people. I really don't.
And French music.
Yeah. French music is like, okay.
Good style though.
Well, and then at the time I was in touch with Robert Smith of The Cure. Yeah. And what happened is The Cure, they rented this venue called the Hammersmith Odeon, and they were rehearsing at the Hammersmith Odeon every day for 1 week.
All right.
So that was my holidays in London. Like every day I would see a Cure concert for myself at 2 p.m. And I said, fuck, and then I had taken photos of The Cure that summer in Greece, in Switzerland. And so while I was in London, I went to see the Melody Maker, and I said, "Hey, these are my photos." And eventually, after 10 days in London, I had seen 6 concerts of The Cure or 7, and I had my name in the British music press because Melody Maker used one of my photos. I said, "Fuck, I'm staying here."
You made it.
Yeah, I'm staying here. Do you know, I met some French people who were living in a squatting camp where they said, "Well, we can open a squat for you." So like it was a no-brainer, you know. Like either you'd be in Paris making a magazine about rock music in France and with and the alternative would say, "Oh fuck, I'm going to find a squat in South London and work for the press and hang around with musicians."
And you're still doing it.
Exactly. It was like literally, well, this is one of the first photo I took. This is actually the first photo I took when I arrived in London in '85, when I decided to settle down in London. My first thing was like I had this contact, and so I went to...
This is Robert Smith with a spinning top in, is it at Fiction Records?
That's at Fiction Records, yeah, in central London.
Is that in Charlotte Street?
Charlotte Street, correct.
I used to live there.
You did, and it's across the street from the pub, so you probably know this.
I live next door to the pub. Yeah.
And it's what you call bounce flash. So the flash doesn't hit you in the face like that. It goes on the ceiling, and then all the light comes back, and then hits the table and comes back. So the light on his face here is very soft because literally the flash goes like touche, touche, and back. So there's a very beautiful balance. I can look at this photo every day and still not be bored.
And what was the spinning top doing there? Was it just there?
Alors,
or did you carry it with you?
I'm really sorry, but there's a record by The Cure called The Top.
So, but did you bring it, or was it there?
No. And if you listen to the song called The Top, meaning the spinning top, the song starts with this top spinning, and the album of The Cure, The Top, finishes with the top falling. So it's not a toy; it's a music instrument. You hear it on their record, and there's even on the record of The Cure, The Top, it's even a drawing of a spinning top.
Right.
Okay.
The first time did I see The Cure? I think I saw The Cure at Reading, like 89 or 90, something like that, and it was mud and piss and all of that. And then I saw them a few years ago at an arena, and I had a seat in a lounge there was a chef, and they brought you coffee, and you didn't have to leave this cup. It was terrible. I mean, it was a nice way to see a concert, but a terrible way to see a Cure concert. And but he's great. He's, you know, I like everything about him. He just doesn't give a shit, and he takes care of his fans. And the whole ticket thing as well. He's so funny because he could make a big noise and scream and shout, but he just said, you know, we keep our tickets so fans can afford them. And you don't have to do it the other way, which all these big bands are saying, we don't know anything about the ticketing, we don't, you know.
No, it feels great to be a fan of The Cure and then discovering that leader they have, what a cool guy.
Yeah.
Tu vois?
And so here we have Joe Strummer. So this is again one of your most recognizable pictures. Where was this shot?
It was shot in North London at the Town and Country Club, who is now called the Forum, I think, right?
Yeah.
And again, it's the same technique with the flash going up and down, you know, this bounce flash. But here it's a square photograph, so it means it's a medium format. And these two grooves here and here are the signature grooves of the Hasselblad camera.
This one?
Yeah, this one here. Hold on.
For those of you listening, we're fishing. Yeah.
So I can show you. I don't have film there. No, okay.
Is that because it's too expensive to put film in it now?
No, because I really, if you touch with your two fingers, you've got like two little notches here. Right. and these are the two notches here. So this is the Hasselblad signature. Yeah. You hear it.
There you go.
So
you always carry all this shit around with you all the
I
time?
carry too much shit around.
Yeah.
And so this was taken in after a Joe Strummer concert, not a Clash concert. The Clash didn't exist anymore. And very lately, the brand Fender contacted me because they're going to make a Joe Strummer signature Fender, and this is the photo they're going to use to advertise for it.
Are you going to get a guitar?
I don't know, because they do only 50 guitars.
They say that. Ask one. They'll make 51 at least.
Okay, I'll ask one. I mean, maybe
ask for two.
Maybe I should. Maybe no, but you're right. Maybe I should. I'll try.
Yeah, we can negotiate for you.
No, but you know, a deal is a deal, and I signed the contract, so it's too late, you know, to say, by the way, I changed my mind.
Too late.
Bowie, hey, beautiful.
Yeah, no, that's nice. Yeah. So you're mixing around. So was Bowie a choice of yours to photograph, or were you sent to photograph him?
No. Likewise, I was not working for anyone at the time. I just said, "Can I have a photo pass for David Bowie?" Which I had, and it was a relatively small venue. I went to Prague in Czech Republic, and at the time. Czechoslovakia had split into Czech Republic and Slovakia very recently, and the country was not like either rich or plagued with tourism.
It was in the middle.
Yeah, so a David Bowie concert there was like really cool. That's one photo I also can look at every day and not be bored. I really adore it.
And so, did you go from London then to Prague, or were you?
I'd left London. I was living in France, and I managed to go to Prague. I left London in '92, so all my photos in London are before '92.
At that point, and so when you moved back to France, how you were travelling a lot? So if Bowie was playing, or if there was a big band you wanted to see, you would just travel, and then try and sell the pictures afterwards, or was there much commissioning happening? Yeah,
after that I got a telephone call from a magazine in France who gave me a salary for a year. Right. They said, we need a photographer, we like your work. So literally 6 months after that I had a salary.
Oh.
Yeah.
That the first one?
In press, yeah. For a year they employed me, and they kicked me out, and I made how many? 4 court cases. I won all 4 of them. They kicked me out. I was like, "Why do you kick me out?" So this reminds me of this.
What was their reason? They just didn't want to pay anymore?
Why did they kick me out? Oh, no, because the editor found a girl. She was 17. She had a small camera, and he was having an affair with her. And he said,
That's very French.
Gosh, the editor, this guy is dead now, but I had time to make 4 court cases and win all 4 of them. I'm so fucking upset. You know, I had this photo shoot with Metallica. Just the singer, Hetfield.
Yeah.
And this editor said, okay, you'll pretend she's your assistant. Just casually say that you have an assistant. And while he said to the girl, now you look closely what he does, because in 6 months' time I kick him out and it's going to be your job.
Could you show me how to load that film again? Fantastic. God.
I was really upset.
But do you think she would have been able to use one of these?
This one specifically is
wide lux.
The wide lux it's a bit complicated. Why is that? Is because the negative is well, the image is like panoramic like that, and no newspaper would use it for the layout. It doesn't
shape.
work. No. Tu vois, can I show you how it works? And I do it like this way so that the people looking at the camera go, okay, so the normal way would be like this. So the lens is here and it pans the image. Oh, putain. Wow, putain. Okay. It needs to be clean.
Okay, so you're not wasting film here.
So I do this, yeah. Okay. Voilà. And then what I do sometimes is suppose I take a photo and I take a photo of your face all the way, right? So I'm going to need a tripod. So can you do a finger for me, please?
You're going to need makeup.
Yeah, do a
and
finger
lights
for me.
as
Yeah.
well.
Okay, thank you. And so this becomes the tripod. And as I take the photo, okay, like this, voilà. Tu vois?
Fantastic.
Voilà.
But why would you choose to use that? Like, what do you have something in mind when you're using it? Because it's quite specific.
Oui. How the scenery, the angle. Like, okay, let me again, like The Cure, for instance. Right now they're a 6-piece band, and when you are in front of the band, you literally have one to the right and one to the left, really like far apart, and the panoramic camera makes it possible to have everyone on the photo.
Yeah. Are you able to ever get them all together for like a group portrait, or does it not work like that? No, just getting the group like off stage together.
No, I never managed. No, I only photograph from, but the other one, no, it's too complicated.
Yeah.
No.
Like most bands.
Yes, like my band. Yeah.
He looks the best anyway, so that's all right. What about Morrissey here?
Oh, this is the last photo of the. This is the last concert of the Smiths.
Was this Brixton?
Brixton Academy.
Right. Yeah.
Wait, and in.
Did they know it was going to be the last, or did it just happened?
No,
to be the last?
they split up. They split up like 3-4 months later. They were not even on tour. It was a charity concert of some sort. No, they didn't know. Maybe Morrissey knew, but I don't know. In my recollection, it's a wonderful concert. It was really, really, really good concert. It's one of the best concerts I've seen. This Smiths concert with
And so typically then, I know there's a lot of restrictions now with shooting it, but would you shoot the whole show?
Normally you shoot the first 3 songs. The Cure is the first 2 songs because the song lasts forever.
Was it some weird B-side that no one's ever listened to?
Well, or the record that is not out yet. And now recently with Ozzy Osbourne, it was song number 11 and 12, I think, or song number 7 and 8 or something like that. Okay? And there was a reason for that.
Did it make sense?
Yes. But I don't have all the words in English, so you will have to help me, and the listeners will have to excuse me. It's a tool that you have to spray carbonic snow.
Oh yeah. The dry ice or
dry ice, yeah. Okay, midway, halfway through the concert, Ozzy is a bit bored, so he takes this tool and he aims at the photographers.
Right.
Okay. So that's when they want the photographers to be there because Ozzy needs to be entertained. Yeah. Right. And they make us sign contract. They say, okay, so you're going to go. They say after War Pig, you will be allowed to go in the photo pit. I think it was song 6 or 7 or something like that. And make sure that you protect your camera, because Ozzy is going to try to get you with this carbonic. Explain me the name. I'm trying to.
Is it dry ice?
Yeah, dry ice.
Dry ice, yeah.
Tiens, voilà.
Yeah. Like a fire extinguisher.
Exactly,
Yeah,
fire extinguisher. That's right. Voilà, voilà,
Excellent.
c'est ça.
Yeah. Have you ever had anything else thrown at you while you were taking pictures? Anyone have a problem at a concert?
Mud from Kiss, the band Kiss. Some guy threw mud at the band, and some mud hit the stage, and they were so fucking pissed off they kicked the mud, and I just get the. So now.
And what's the weirdest restriction you've had though? So like there you're being asked to shoot song number 11. Like what's the most unusual thing now you've heard from bands?
There's this French guy, he's really popular, but he fancies himself this side.
All right.
So they say you want to be...
Yeah, I'm like that. Yeah, you never see this side.
What's the weird restriction what's really upsetting is bands who want to control their image, and so you sign contract and they want to see the photos and everything, while on stage they sing songs about peace and love and understanding. This drives me nuts every time. Yeah.
And do you sign them or do you?
I sign it because it doesn't have any value.
No, that's true. That's what I always said. Every time we get a contract, I'd say, yeah, I'll sign it because it doesn't mean anything.
It does. For instance, if it's a contract, it has to be like if we sign a contract, it's you and me. So I give you something and you give me something in return. If the contract says only you have the right to do this, yes, but what in return? Nothing. Well, it's not a contract. It's just pure fascism. And also, may I remind you that this is written in English and I am not English. So good luck explaining to your lawyer that.
All it does is create a bad atmosphere
Exactly.
amongst everyone. But the most annoying thing about it is that everyone in the crowd is taking pictures and they have no control. So they have control over good pictures, which they never use, and all the shit ones are on the internet before the end of the first song.
I really have no opinion about. At the end of the day, I don't have any opinion about that. I think it makes sense to say to the photographers, you can be in the photo pit for this and that songs, and then you leave. For a good reason is photographers, once they have their photo and they're happy with their photo, they tend to go like, check their mail, look at the girls, and say, tu vois ce que je veux dire. So you have 2 or 3 songs to make your photos, and then you're out. If you cannot have one good song, one good photo in 15 minutes, then you should find another job.
But this is true. But do you also think that bands are not thinking about the future? So now you have 30, however many years, pictures of The Cure. But if they'd have stopped you taking pictures or put in these restrictions...
Oh, I don't
you know this Nirvana... What was the Nirvana album
Nevermind.
you gave me a picture for? Was it
Nevermind?
Yeah. So we worked on a reissue of Nevermind. I thought it was the 10th anniversary, but it was the 20th. And you gave me some pictures for it for the book. But the management kept saying, why are there no pictures? Why are we seeing the same few pictures? They were the biggest band in the world. And I said, you didn't let anyone take their picture.
Idiot.
And he said, but somebody must have. I said, you wouldn't let anyone. You wouldn't let anyone in, and you took their cameras. And so no one took... So now you're doing the 20th anniversary box set, and it's the same 10 pictures.
Yeah, and then we look like 2 old people complaining about the old days.
No, but it's not that. But it's not even the old days. It's like right now. It's like what do they think they're controlling?
Absolutely.
And this idea that you might be making some money, but where are you making money? Magazines don't pay for pictures anymore. No. Bootleggers steal everything, and.
And also, if I decide to take photos of Nirvana or some shit like that, it means that I carry my equipment, I buy myself my films, and if you want to have my photos 30 years later, it's because I didn't lose the photos in 30 years. So it's not only doing photography, but it's also a great deal of work to have your files.
Yeah, no,
Tu vois?
because often I'm on both sides. I'm working with a band who don't understand why they have to pay for pictures of themselves. And I point out that all the pictures you own got thrown away when your record company dumped you.
Oui.
And all the pictures the photographers took, they kept. And you call them up and they'll
Oui.
send them to you the next day for a fee. But that's, you know, that's the
Myself,
way it goes.
the idea that my work would become valuable after so many years, I never had this in mind. Never.
I don't think anyone did. Certainly not.
Of course.
Bands don't
No,
think.
no.
Why do they think we need a picture from Brixton Academy 30 years later?
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
another gig.
Yeah.
But it was the last gig, you know, for the
Tu
Smiths,
vois?
for
And
example.
or likewise when this when the Cure, when you saw the Cure in the 80s, they were not thinking, oh, maybe we should take photos because in 2020, blah blah, we're going to work on the 50th anniversary. No, rock and roll is not about this. So.
But do you find, like, I talk about, and it's not moaning, it might sound like moaning, but it's not moaning. But I talk to a lot of photographers about how things have changed where, you know, you could call up and say, I want to photograph Bowie, and they give you a pass. And you're trusted not to fuck around or abuse that, or to sit in the pit doing something else other than trying to take pictures and not get in the way. And so there was a certain amount of trust between an artist, if you got that close, or management and record company. Okay, you're a photographer, we know you're going to take a good picture and you're going to let us use them.
I agree
work
with
something
you.
out.
Yeah, I agree
and
with you.
now, you know, I had talked to another photographer who was going to a show last night, and he's known the band as long as you've known The Cure. He calls the new manager, and the manager said, how do you intend to make money from this? It's like, that's not the reason, you know. There is no money being made. It's going to document it, and because if you don't document it, there's no record.
Absolutely. Oui.
There's no harm, as I can see, in having a good picture of your band anytime.
Anytime.
You know.
And more importantly, and the Cure are working on a documentary for their anniversaries. Robert said this recently. I think that as time goes by, you realize the importance of the photographer. Like the Cure, you couldn't see the face of the musicians of the Cure on their first 3-4 records. There was no photos of the actual band, and the work of the photographers who were inspired by their music and produced all these photos. That's what helped build the image of the Cure eventually. So photographers, the bands, the musicians eventually know the importance of having their photo taken.
Yeah. And, you know, what surprises me now is the amount of time, like a band will spend 3 years working on a new album and then 5 minutes to take a picture to promote it. You know, they don't think about, they don't think, or often maybe it's not the band so much, but, you know, a management will say, we need a picture because the album's coming out next week.
Oui.
And it's like, but the band are all on holiday now because they spent 3 years working.
Yeah.
But
or usually when the band has just finished mixing, what happened is they all look scruffy.
I met Richard Hawley years ago. I was talking to Richard Hawley's manager. I love Richard Hawley. He's great. He looks great. And he said, we were talking about pictures, and he said the first album, they got Anton Corbijn to take these portraits. They were amazing, expensive, but great. It's Anton, and it all looked good. And then there was some delay with the album, and Richard cut all his hair off. He had long hair. So then they couldn't use the pictures. And, you know, so they never got used. Because, and the record companies, that happens a lot. You know, if a band doesn't look the same, or the drummer leaves, or there's a new bass player, or, you know, suddenly they like colour and not black and white, everything gets dumped. You know.
I don't have I don't have all this knowledge. I never worked so closely with the record industry. So, but I'm sure that there are tons of very good stories of money being thrown.
So we have a picture here of James Brown, looking magnificent. What was it like to work with someone like him? Can you tell him what to do, or does he do what he's going to do?
Oh yeah. Typically, what I explain to the people when I'm about to photograph them, I say, look, you may look great, I may be a fantastic photographer, but there's one thing way more important than you and me is the fucking light. If the light is not good, it doesn't matter how great you are, it doesn't matter how great I am, we're going to have a shit photo. So please, sir, you move back 2 meters to the left because the window's there. And James Brown, he takes his serious.
He understood.
Of course.
Yeah.
Tu vois, I'm really happy with that. I said, excuse me, like, I am moving. And he was freshly out of jail. So it's a common thing to be happy to see photographers when you were in jail. It was, hey, you know, it was a good moment for him. He was just doing this record called Living in America.
Oh, yeah.
That's the time, in 91.
Did you ever see him perform?
Oui. Oui.
I saw him only once, and it was in Paris. He played for Fête de la Musique.
La Fête de la Musique.
It was fantastic. And it was free. And I think The Cure played the same time in another square.
Probably. Yeah, because La Fête de la Musique is, of course, it has to be free.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
It's great.
Right.
I think I was standing on a lamppost somewhere. Lana Del Rey. Now, you have other pictures from this session, but you seem to...
Like this one.
You like this one. Now...
I can explain.
I was going to ask you to explain.
Literally, I took with her 3 or 4 photos. There's one where she's laughing. She has a very beautiful smile. Okay, and then the other one is just just a portrait, right? And this one I like because there's this in the front, this in the back. And this perspective is really good. And like the girl here,
the other photographer.
She doesn't even know how to hold a camera properly. You know, I find it funny.
That's how I hold it.
Yeah.
And so this is quite a well-known picture of Lana Del Rey.
Typically, I think. I don't need to photograph her anymore. I don't need to say, can I photograph Lana? I say no. I don't plan to make a better photo than this with her.
And do you feel that often when you've taken a picture of someone you're really happy, you don't want to photograph them again in case it's not so good, or you just want to keep doing new things?
No, but like quite quickly, I have this in mind. I say, I don't think I'm never gonna get a better photo than this one.
And this is great. I love you used to often post on Facebook.
Yeah, if we like this, we always
is ODB. This has been ripped off so many times and bootlegged and copied, and you would always find examples and post them. I quite like it.
Even in the $1 million record of the Wu-Tang, you heard this story, right?
Yeah.
The Wu-Tang made a record, like 1 copy, that was sold the most expensive record in history or something like that. Yeah, the most expensive human recording, and some idiot took this photo and made a drawing. And the drawing ended up in this $1 million record. So the guy is upset at the Wu-Tang, saying, "You're fucking stealing my work." And I said to the guy, "You fucking did it to me, idiot." So if you ever buy the $1 million, the most expensive record on earth, you'll have this one in it. Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. And where else has this ever been used, like officially, like on any merchandise or something like that? Because I know you often posted things. It's been on T-shirts or things like that.
No, when it's been on T-shirt, but it was officially made on T-shirt, but like without them asking me.
Yeah. And what was the of course officially without permission? But what was going on here? There's a globe and a bicycle and.
Alors, it was. I took this.
I just imagine you bring shit with you to like.
No, dude.
I brought a bike and a globe. Just that's why he's looking. What the fuck?
No. I think the globe was in the hotel room, and the bike was a present that ODB had for one of his kids.
Because it always looks like there's a lot going on.
Yeah, it's weird, huh? No, I only took 3 photos with him, and then he had no. It was very tense. So I took 3 photos. I was alone in the hotel room with him, and I took 3 photos. This one is the best because the other 2, it was the other part of the room, and they were like a lamp and switches on, and it doesn't look good. So we moved to have like a wide backdrop, which is really like one angle in the room, and I took with my Hasselblad like that, and with my flash higher like this. So this is why you see the shadow. The shadow is created by the distance between my 2 arms, right? My 2 hands, and it's really, really neat because Hasselblad is very good. No, this was a present for one of his kids.
So in a situation like this, you don't have much time. You're confined to his room, and you have to think quickly to get a picture.
Oui.
Do you like that sort of pressure, or do
you? Oui, because you have it needs 2 things. For the photo to be good, you need to have an ID. And for the portrait to be good, you need to have something in the eyes of your model. So you need to be entertaining. Tu vois? And so like the challenge is to be both creative and entertaining at the same time. I fucking love it.
What do you think is your best result? Like where all those things happen, not necessarily your best pictures, but this one.
One of them?
Yeah, a rare smiling one. But do you have an example where it really didn't work, where all your French charm failed?
Again, it doesn't work with. It doesn't work when I don't like the people's music.
Do you ever tell them, I don't like your music, but I have to get a picture?
No, you wouldn't.
Maybe you should. So this is where was it? I think we used one of these in the album.
Correct.
Yeah.
In Nevermind, you thanks to you, Dave, you used 2 photos.
That was a good reissue.
And this is typically when I'm taking photos with, this is me being a show-off, right? Yeah. But when I take photos with musicians and they say, well, how long does it take? And blah, blah, blah. And I say, well, look, I spent twice 5 minutes with Kurt Cobain and I have 2 photos in Nevermind, so shut up.
That's good. Yeah. You should ask them how long it takes to record a single that lasts for 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Fucking 6 months.
Tu vois? So, on this one specifically, I think the problem is that I forgot to change the batteries in my flash.
Right.
And the flash needs 7 seconds to charge, and like it would take longer, right?
Yeah.
So eventually, we were having a good time with the whole band, laughing and everything, except that I couldn't really take photos because my flash was there. Yeah. So I said, "Okay, I'll shoot it without the light, only with the lamp in the dressing room." And so this is why I don't get a very good focus. It happens very often. When people laugh, they go, ha, 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 ha. So you have a good photo, except it's slightly out of focus. So the slightly out of focus effect is just because we were laughing, right?
Yeah. And this is the cover of your enormous book, which how many tons did you say you have?
I did 17 tons, and I sold nearly 8 tons already. So
that's all right.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah. But
where do you keep all the others? They're not in your kitchen, or
no, in France, in north of Lyon.
But you produced all this yourself?
Yes. Me and my associate, we created a publishing company in order to print all this.
And so now you have your exhibitions, but I mean, you're always busy. You're always exhibiting or doing little events somewhere. So I'm going to jump onto this, Bobby Gillespie. When I saw his, the book, his autobiography, that came out, before I even registered it, I knew you'd taken it because I could see it was out in Camberwell.
That's correct. Yeah.
How did that come about?
It was for a French magazine called Les Inrecuptibles, who famously had like a 5-6 pages interview. They would take a lot of time with the artist, and so they needed a place to do the interview. And Creation Record was like kind of small and said, you know. So when Primal Scream did Screamadelica, Les Inrecuptibles said, okay, we're going to go to London to make an interview with Bobby. But, we need a place to be kind of comfortable to do the interview, like a 2 to 1 hour and a half long interview. And I said, you can come to my place. I've got a front room. It was June. The weather is beautiful. South London is cool. So, so Bobby Gillespie and the journalist of Les Inrecuptibles arrive in my apartment, and so these photos are taken in my front room, and then after that we went in the street and took photos in the street. That became
And did I mean, it's an interesting choice. It's a great picture and it's fun, but it's an interesting choice for him to put on his book. Did you get to ask him why he chose that one?
I think because if you look at the files of like all the other photographers' work, very often he has like this clothes, like about to go on stage, a famous black shirt, or and here he looks really casual. And if it's your biography, you want to look sort of casual on the photo, on the cover, maybe. This would be a reason. And also...
He's laughing as well.
Yeah, and he also is laughing. And also, one other band from Creation Records called The House of Love lived down the road. And he really did not like The House of Love. So one of the reasons he likes my photo is he says he's showing his ass to Guy Chadwick on my photo.
That's a good enough reason.
It's a good enough reason, yeah, of course.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's a more cure. So do you still like, I know you didn't get to shoot the concert the other day because of British Airways, but do you still enjoy shooting The Cure?
Oh, we very much so. Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Now this London concert lately, it didn't work because my plane didn't exist any longer. Okay, it happens. Not also for one reason is when you have a photo pass, you absolutely have your 2 elbows on the stage. It's like this, like, and you go, gosh, this is so cool. This is so cool for a start. And Robert with all this shit is really inspiring. You know? And like their new record is like so dark, and like there's always something like heavy on their shoulders when they play. So, ouais, bien sûr.
And so, do you still like? What are you looking for now? Like when you're a concert to shoot him? You've done it so many times. How do you keep it interesting and different?
Typically, and you see this with The Cure, and you don't see it with many bands. They are listening to each other when they play, and they look at each other when they play. Normally, like if you go to Ed Sheeran is doing his shit, and everyone on the back, ha ha ha, tu vois? Or when they do electronic, I say Ed Sheeran or Depeche Mode, exactly the same shit. The two people, they don't look at each other when they perform. They don't need to look at each other because it's machine producing. With The Cure, they look at each other. You have things in their eyes constantly. So this is what you want to, of course. Oh well.
Okay, we've got a token French artist here now. But
Third.
it's probably the only French artist that everyone has heard of outside of France.
Oui.
And where was this? Is this it?
This is in this is in Luxembourg, and he was talking to a guy here who has a Leica M5, and his name is Herman Selleslags. And Selleslags died last month, and Selleslags was an immense photographer, but he never tried to make business over here in England. He was like more in Belgium and Dutch-speaking Netherlands and Dutch-speaking Belgium. So Herman Selleslags, maybe you never heard this name.
No, I haven't.
Tu vois? He was hanging around with the Beatles and Zappa and Captain Beefheart and Selleslags. He has a really bulk of work. And he was doing a photo shoot with Serge Gainsbourg that day for the cover of a book that would be about Serge Gainsbourg in Dutch.
Right.
Again. Myself, I was like so very impressed. Okay. Because I was like in my really early 20s, and Gainsbourg had just made a record about talking about sex, boom, just sex, with samples of girls screaming, and it was like, whoa, this man, I was really impressed. And again, I'm using this technique of the bounce flash, so the light is kind of even. Gainsbourg at the time was famous. He died 6 years later, and he famously was drinking a drink called 102. You may have heard this before, no?
No.
You know this drink called pastis 51.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 102 is a double 51. So that's Gainsbourg drinking a 102. It's a double 51. In the morning, voilà. Susie, she was shooting a video for a song called The Killing Jar in West London.
Yeah, that is funny. There is a different look to this than your other. Generally, your pictures are more like fly on the wall, like you're around. Yeah.
And here we was like, okay, because as I said, she was shooting a video, so she had her dressing room, her designer's clothes, the makeup and everything, and she was shooting the video for 2 days, so I spent 2 days with them. And so eventually I said, can we take? She said, okay, you have to wait. And then when eventually she comes and says, yes, we can have our photo taken. She was very perfect, nice makeup and everything. And he was like, okay, do your photo. Yeah, that typically, if I try to make her laugh, he's dead. You don't try to be entertaining with a person like that. You just make sure like the light is good, and then you shoot. Voilà.
And so, if you had a choice now, would you? You don't shoot so much live. Do you prefer just being in a room with a person?
Alors, the problem with live music photography these days is that it used to be light bulbs, and now they're using LED, and LED is absolutely horrible. It really is really soft. It has no texture. You don't have shadows any longer.
Yeah.
You can watch like typically the Olympic Games, which is like the greatest show on earth. The opening of the Olympic Games is the greatest show on earth. They've got shit tons of LED everywhere, and you look at your television screen and you say, "Shit, there's no shadow."
Yeah.
It doesn't. This system of lighting.
Everything is flat.
Yeah, it doesn't produce any shadow. So this is really complicated for live music right now.
Yeah.
Having said that, in black and white, when I push my film 3 stops. The fact that you push your film black and white, that you overdevelop your film, gives a little bit of energy, and it saves the weakness of the LED.
Yeah. So it's all about the light.
It's all about it's absolutely all about the light, of course. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Of course.
I remember that I was talking to a photographer. He's in Texas called Carl Dunn, and he photographed everyone who went through Texas in the late 60s to for 20 or 30 years. And he said when he got into photography, he was with a friend at a concert, and in a big hall, and it was really dark, and there was just one spotlight on the stage, on the singer, and his friend had a camera and was taking pictures, and he said, "Is it going to come out?" And he said, "If you can see it, you can photograph it, but you have to work out how."
Oui.
So
absolutely.
as long as there's some light.
Oui. Photography that's the name of the invention. Yeah. If you don't have light, you're not going to have much. Excuse me.
But concerts now, particularly the whole thing with the first 3 numbers, the lighting seems to be, it's almost like they deliberately make it bad at the beginning.
Alors, again,
blue or red. That's your choice.
First of all, and then secondly, usually if you're allowed to take the first 3 songs, what's likely to happen is at the 4th song, all the photographers are at the bar complaining like, so I don't want to do this.
No, I just think it's a shame. It's like, because it doesn't serve anyone to have, when later in the show, when I was working at Q, I remember we did, I think it was Drake or someone like that was playing at the O2, and they said, no, I think it was either no photos or one song from the desk. So it's the same picture. So you can only take one picture. And then I think the writer was in the crowd. He took a picture with his iPhone later in the show. And it was great because it had everything. It had all the lights, all the effects. And it's just a shame because it's not good for the artist. It's not good for the photographer. It's not good for people looking online or reading a magazine. That's the thing. It's not a question of just moaning for the sake of moaning, but it's like they wouldn't go on stage and perform with only one speaker working.
Exactly. No, but again, I don't want.
You don't have to moan. I'm going to do all the moaning.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you have something positive to say for our listeners and our viewers about photography and music, what would you say?
Well, it's the best job on earth. Because, suppose you complain that you take a photo and they give you £10, or you say, shit, I did this photo, I'm paid 10 quid, right? Okay. But the photo was taken in 1/60th of a second. So I did the math, and if you get 10 quid for 1/60th of a second, it's 21 million per hour.
That's a good rate.
You get it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell this to the listeners. This is the best paid job existing.
You can buy lunch.
Voilà.
All right. Well, good luck with your show.
Merci.
Thank you. Whatever comes next. And thanks for coming over.
My pleasure.